Welcome to the Crazy Ralph podcast. I'm Jason. I'm with.
Your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete.
All right. So we are going to do something today that we've already done, and we're not going to usually redo our material, but it was such a great idea. Uncle Pete had such a fantastic idea, and we put it on social media, and there was a lot of interaction with this. What we wanted to do was revisit it ourselves because it was a good idea and we put thought into it. But then after I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I think I kind of got it wrong. Maybe because I think literally you came up with the idea just before
We were doing
shot.
our pre-meeting. We were doing our pre-meeting for the podcast.
Exactly.
I was like, wouldn't this be cool? So we did kind of just throw it together real quick.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it up, and we're gonna take our time with it. It is basically building our dream camp Crystal Lake, our dream camp blood. And what we decided to do with that is we take one shelter, which is where the focus of the film takes place, whether it's like the main cabin in part 1, 2, the main cottage area in part 3, one of the houses from part 4, and so on, the halfway house, whatever. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but the main area counts as the main shelter. That's 1. 2 are the woods. Every Friday the 13th has a unique look to their woods and the different feels. So that's number 2. Number 3 is the lake, separate from the woods. Sometimes it could be the exact same. Sometimes, it can differ. And then to make it more fun, because there was a lot of different scenarios and scenes in Friday the 13th, there is the add-on phase, and there's 2 add-ons that we get. What is the add-on? Well, it could be the bar in part 2. It could be the barn in part 3. It could be the graveyard at the beginning of part 6. It could be the RV in part 6. It could be any other location that was used, even it could be the grocery store in part 3. So it could be anything you want in any of the 12 films. It could be the spaceship in part 8, although I would argue that would be the main shelter. But I'm just saying you can go in any direction you want with these add-ons, as long as it's not another main area. We thought this was really, really a fun idea, and again, it got us thinking so much that we're doing a second take on this, and but this one is for keeps, Uncle Pete. And
I don't remember the picks from the last time, so it could be completely different. I'm like, I don't want to go back and see what I picked. When we recorded that first episode, it's like, let's do it fresh, and then I'm going to go back and look at it.
All right, that's that's a great way to do it. I liked mine, but then after I got and I'll say this because I put this on social media on one of the Friday 13th Facebook pages, and one guy responded with his list, and I was like, he's right. He got one right. I was like, no, that this guy nailed it. This is the one. So it made me rethink one of the locations. So I'm happy to redo this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it in turns. We're gonna go back and forth, and at the end we'll just summarize what our dream camp is. And then please share yours. This is a fun one, I think. And
100%.
Share yours and let us know.
There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer, guys.
It's a matter of opinion, right? And that's the thing. Like,
exactly.
You'll get the odd person saying you're crazy. It's this, but whatever. Uncle Pete, before we begin, do you have anything to add?
Nope. If you're listening or watching right now on whatever platform, really appreciate it. And we'll say this in just please like, share, comment, subscribe, and to repeat what Jason said. Please put your answers down in the bottom. That's the fun part for us to read what you guys have. Otherwise, it's 2 guys talking. We want to interact. We want to hear what you guys think, what your dream camp is.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. And that's why I threw to your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. All right. So we will start off and we will go to the main shelter area. Uncle Pete, I'll throw to you for this one. What is your main area?
I have to go with the Jarvis house from part 4. To me, it's so iconic. I mean, that's where Jason gets that brutal kill, courtesy of Tommy. When Ted White as Jason just bursts through that door and it just explodes, wood flying everywhere. He's just so angry, so mean. The chase through the house, upstairs, downstairs, the big windows and everything. It's just, when I think Friday the 13th, that image of Ted White exploding through the door is one of the first images I think about for Friday the 13th. So much happens in that house. I like, because it's such this beautiful house in the woods, nice and calm, the beautiful family living there, and just chaos next door all around. It's just, that's the house. It's Jarvis's house. That is like the, if you can pick any name synonymous with Friday the 13th, that's not Voorhees, it's Jarvis. And this is the house that introduced us to the Jarvis family.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Fantastic. Can't really argue it. But I will say that mine is different. So for me, and it's not, this is the one that switched for me. So and you'll have to go back in the other episode to figure out where what I said before. But my main one is part 2. That's that blue-green cabin there where all the counselors were. I mean, that was like, to me, I'm watching that and I'm like thinking that I want to be there. Like that is something that wasn't really captured too much in any other Friday the 13th films, is like they all congregated, all the young counselors before camp. They're playing video games. They're playing chess. They're dancing. They're flirting. They're like, it's a nice big open area and they're all hanging out, having a great old time. And, the aesthetic on the outside is beautiful, like where they're having their dinner and that lanai kind of thing and overlooking the lake. It's beautiful. Again, around the where Paul's addressing the counselors, it's just a nice open area. The barbecue is just nearby. I just think it captured so much of like that camp experience or that cottage experience with your friends. And just inside, like I said, at that nighttime when they're all just hanging out, you just picture yourself like 20-year-old just hanging out with a whole bunch of other 20-year-olds, and who knows what can happen. And I guess they didn't expect that to happen.
True.
But my point is I think that cabin just captured a feel that was very authentic, very real to that experience in life. I can't. I want to be there. I want to be there. I
was going to say that it's a place I want to go hang out with those kids. I want to
Right?
be sitting next to them, eating my hamburger and like ready to go party with these guys.
Exactly. You want your chance to arm wrestle Mark. You want to get in there and you want to see if you could take him down. And
I know, like, they're all kind of pairing up, which is kind of cool. Like if the ratio is equal, I'm all about it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I definitely, the house in part 2 is my shelter. All right, so we will move on to the woods, and for the woods, I'll take the lead on this one, and I will say for me, the woods in part 1, I found them to be again just dark, but not like overly dark in the sense like, not like exposure wise. They were just dark, they were rich, they were real, they were dense, they were ominous, and they were familiar. They were like, they bordered the lake beautifully with that nice clearing. It just, I absolutely love the feel of the woods in part 1. To me, those woods spoke to me. They spoke to me in the sense that I'd been there before. I'd gone to cottages, cabins, and this is what the woods look like. And nice. I absolutely, and then also you add that 80s grit to the film stock, and you're off to the races. For me, the woods for part 1.
So I'm going to go back to part 4. I love when the mom and daughter are running in the woods. There's like nice little trails and everything, and it feels like a forest, like the woods during like early spring and whatnot. And then you have the way it connects to the lake, and Tommy can see through his bedroom window the house next door, and like all the woods surrounding him, the way to look, the roads like when they I can't remember his name, Rick, the hitchhiker, who's looking for his sister. When they pick
Rob.
him up is Rob, sorry, Rob. When they pick up the hitchhiker, everything just feels so connected. That's why I like the woods. It feels like, because obviously it was probably filmed in all different areas and whatnot, but for me, the woods, it tied everything together. The Jarvis house, the counselor's house, and the lake and the woods just kind of like compassed it into like one central location. And I love the look of it.
Yeah, it's funny. It sounds like what you like about part four is the exact thing I liked about part one, right? We just kind of have a little bit of a difference in like, which one spoke to us more. But all right, so we're off to the races. So now we go with the lake. And for this, you can take us to the next
And
round.
this is the one that I believe changed for me. I think last time I picked part 6 because of the ending with Tommy and Jason getting drowned, but it's called Crystal Lake for a reason. Ending shot, the original Friday the 13th on the lake. It looks like glass.
Mhm.
It's so calm and peaceful. And you get that jump scare of jump scares that you didn't expect. It's a crystal looking lake. That
Mhm.
lake is just synonymous. I mean, Crystal Lake, Friday the 13th, peanut butter and jelly. It's just so calm and quiet and like crystal clear. And then bam, jump scare, she gets pulled in. What about the boy? It's just, that's Crystal Lake. Like you see why it was named Crystal Lake. So easy one for me, the original.
All right. So, excuse me. This one kind of changed for me as well. I won't go with what I originally had, but I will say that I do agree with you. It's the lake from part one. I think it was utilized well. It was like that nice dark black lake, like when they're swimming and like Ned is pulling that prank and stuff like that. It's like a up north where I am, like kind of there's always the two types of lakes. So in my area, so there's the shallower, sometimes man-made ones that are like full of weeds and all that stuff, and then there's the deep natural ones with rocks, and those ones just they're deeper, they're blacker, but like they're actually just nicer to swim in because who wants to swim with weeds? And it just reminds me of that, right? That just like upscale kind of lake. And it just yeah, like they have the dock in there, they're again having fun, and the aesthetic of that is just just inviting. And then yeah, the final scene, it's like you said, it was crystal lake, and in more ways than one, and it just set the tone. You see that still picture of Adrian King and Jason, and
Totally.
it's the that's the lake. And funny enough, like I said, I did not have that as my lake in the first round. So happy to make this change and think it through. And I although I made changes this time, I don't think next time I would. I think I got my list, so I'm pretty proud
I'm
of it.
pretty confident too, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we've done shelter, we've done woods, and we've done lake. So now we go to the add-ons, and this is where the barn doors can get blown off, no pun intended, with what we choose. So I'll start with one of my add-ons, and I'll go with the aforementioned barn from part 3. I know the barn gets a lot of love, and I'm not like rewriting a script here by saying anything new. I thought it was a great, they utilized it well with Jason, just kind of setting up shop in the barn. Don't go in the barn. Okay, they're in the barn. Something's gonna happen in the barn. People die in the barn. And it was cool. It was just, and it was unique to one movie, right? Like, I mean, that was kind of special about it. Sometimes that can go the other way too. Sometimes that one off is just like, what were they doing in that movie? But I don't think that was the case with the barn in part 3. I loved it. So barn.
Yep.
You?
Barn was a great answer. I got to piggyback that because I didn't pick it, but Barn is great because I love that shot when she's on that rope swing going in and out, turns his head and it's gone, and then you see the rope still moving. Barn is super underrated. Great answer. But I went with the RV from part 6, mainly because I wanted it to be Court. He's in there with his girlfriend, Nikki. They're getting it on, party, playing metal music. Come on, that's all I would want. Getting on with his beautiful girlfriend, playing metal music in an RV. and then you get two iconic Jason kills. The face through the siding of the RV where you see like the
Yeah.
imprint, and then as soon as he looks in the rearview mirror with the screwdriver like into his skull, it flips over, and like I think they put like a case of beer on top. The director didn't know about it, so that flew off. And that shot of it on fire with Jason standing on top of it, just mwah, chef's kiss, like Friday the 13th moment for me. But mainly because I wanted to be caught with Nikki.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. It was funny because when I first saw it when I was like young, that like, come on, wasn't that the end of the song? Like, all that whole banter kind of went over my head. But you grow up, you're like, okay, yeah, good one. That's awesome. All right, so let's finish it off. What's your next add-on?
Drinking saves lives. The bar from part 2 because of Ted. And it's not something like, yeah, we make the joke that Ted stays at the bar drinking, but I love the exposition you get when all the characters are talking about the theories of Jason. Like, well, what about this? What about that? It just seemed like a hometown bar, not like some big company bar or something. It seemed like you have the regulars, like Cheers. Hey, Norm. There's that type of bar, like with the regulars come in, but then again, you get the counselors who come in every year to so kind of picks up business and whatnot. It seemed like a great place to get a burger and a beer. It just seemed like I would probably hung out at the bar. I'm like, I don't want to go back. I want to go hang out at the bar and try and meet some women and have a burger. Like I'd be staying, hanging out with Ted. It's just so unsuspecting, but a lot goes on in that bar that we don't like realize till after multiple watches when you just hear the conversations and everything like that. Seems like like you, I pick places where I would want to be. Like,
Mhm.
I want to be in the RV with Nikki. Boom, pick the RV. I'd want to hang out in this bar. I would want to be on the lake in part 1. So, yeah, for my second add-on, the bar from part 2.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if there was a lot of was there any other bar scenes in a Friday the 13th film? I don't nothing comes to mind, but all right, yeah, so with the bar, I hate to be redundant on my last pick, but I
Yeah.
picked the bar as well. It's just it was a real-time bar. It made sense, right? Like, you go out with a group of people and the counselors, and you just have a great old time at a bar, and it was so 80s. It was so like 70s 80s kind of like, and
Yep.
it just had such a cool feel. You just wanted to be there. And it's just one of those things that unfortunately it burned down after production, which is really tragic because that would be a fantastic spot to see. But the way things change nowadays, I'm sure it would have been a parking lot or some sort of condominium by now anyway. But it would have been fantastic. Unfortunately, Friday 13th is a victim of a few massive fires that took away some of the iconic locations from us. But that is one. I love the barn. Sorry, the bar. And one, the barn. Yeah. Anyway, so just added an extra letter to my. And that's all. That's the capacity of my thought process. Anyways, so I thought those were pretty good lists. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, but at the same time, like, I think that opening cemetery scene in Friday the 13th Part 6, that's a fantastic location. That was something that, like, I had kind of high on my list. But at the end of the day, a lot of the early films took our locations, which is natural. It's understandable. They were the films that were around the longest to shape our warped minds. So that being said, Uncle Pete, run down your picks.
All right. So again, my main was the driver's house from part 4 because Ted White bursting the door. So much happens in that house. Jason's original death happened. It's just so iconic. The woods from part 6, it just feels like it's connected to the camp, connected to the house. I love when Trisha's running with his mom and her mom in the forest and everything. It just feels very woody, connected really well. Favorite lake, part 1, Crystal Lake, beautiful, looks like a mirror. And one of the most iconic endings in horror from that lake. First add-on, part 6, like I said, I want to be in that RV with Nikki playing heavy metal music. Enough said. And finally, my second add-on, the bar from part 2, because I think we both went over it. It's a place I want to go hang out, grab a beer and a burger with some friends.
All right. It's a It's a great list. Unfortunately, your add-ons don't come with a girl. You know that, right? It doesn't come with Nikki. But
that is a downfall. Yeah, it
yeah.
doesn't come with
If you
me.
pick the RV, if we were getting these locations and these, you would not get an RV with Nikki in it. But I get what you're saying. She
We gotta
definitely
hate on it.
she she helped cement that decision, and
Yeah.
that's very, very powerful, Nikki. All right, so I'll go through mine now, and it was basically different, but same thought process for the most part. Shelter was part 2, good party vibe, and I'm all about a good party, Uncle Pete. Number 2 was the woods. I love the dark, ominous feel of part 1. Yeah, just I wanted to be there despite it being Camp Blood. The lake. Oh yeah, I forgot. We did agree on the lake, Crystal Lake. Tough to bounce part 1 from that, but it can happen, I'm sure. And then the add-ons were the bar and the barn. Just iconic locations in the Friday the 13th world. That being said, what did we miss? What are yours? I'd love to know. I'd love to hear some of the weird ones. I'd love to know if someone has something from Jason Goes to Hell on their list. I would love to know if,
does somebody have the spaceship from Jason X on their list?
Exactly. Here's something from the New Blood. I don't know. It depends sometimes, not only what, the way people think about these films, but also when they see them, right? If part 7 is the first one you saw, you might fall in love with part 7's locations more than someone who was there right from the beginning, and that's valid. That's the way it works. So
somebody could have seen part 8 and love Vancouver.
Yeah.
So they're gonna pick Vancouver, eh?
Exactly. And if you didn't know it was Vancouver, now you do. Sorry to burst your imagination there, but anyways. That's it for this episode. We hope you loved it. Again, drop your comments below on what your dream camp is. Love to know. And follow us on Instagram on the Horror Slash, as well as of course support us on YouTube and where all podcasts are heard. And by doing that, you'll keep us around because if we don't get love, we fall apart. Both Uncle Pete and I crave.
Pretty ugly.
Yeah, it gets pretty depressing sometimes. But we don't have to worry about that. Friday 13th has an awesome fan base, and we're just two fans trying to do our best to bring you some fun content. So 100%. Join in the fun. And before we sign off, Uncle Pete, any parting words?
No, thanks. God bless. Have a great week, everybody, and see you soon on our next show.
I always throw to you, and then I kind of sneak in a drink, but then sometimes you're like, no, I got nothing to say. I'm like, trying to. Okay, well, that's it for this show. We'll see you on the next one.